In the midst of fighting a monster, my friend, don't become the monster itself. Oftentimes, I find myself fighting against an urge or something very difficult, and that difficulty that I'm fighting against has some negative energy towards it. And the more I lean towards that and the more I fight it, the more I become the thing that I'm fighting against. And Nietzsche described this very well, like that's where the quote is from actually. Nietzsche said, in the midst of fighting a monster, somewhere in the line, don't become the monster itself. Oftentimes, like I said, my friend, I'm doing something very difficult. I'm going through life trying to achieve something, and then something happens, and I get all negative about it, and I want to even strive harder. I want to even attain the difficult thing even more. I want to really find a solution to the given problem. The more I focus on a problem, the more I become the problem itself. Let's say, for example, you're working in sales like I'm doing right now. And sometimes in sales, as you guys are of course familiar, for the people that are working there, we'll meet a lot of customers and clients that are pretty difficult to handle and are pretty, they're pretty rough and don't really want to like listen to you even though you're trying to help them. They're just doing their own thing. Most of the times, what I then try to do is I try to reflect that negative energy from them. I try to incorporate that into my own world. When in reality, the thing that you should be doing actually when you're actually dealing with these type of customers or these type of clients, view the positive energy within yourself and try to show that to the world. Not only through the lens of fear of I want to be better than this guy, so let me be positive. Not through that lens. More through the lens of I have so much love and I have so much to give. I have so much positive energy. Let me try to give some to this person. And this, of course, cannot only be applied to sales. This can be applied to anything in life. When you're trying to solve something difficult, when you're trying to do something that is very hard, when you're trying to fight against an urge, whatever that urge may be, when you're trying to do something that is out of the ordinary sequence of day-to-day life, what then happens is that negative energy that you're fighting against, even though you define it to be negative, when in reality the energy is just neutral, that negative energy can become your identity and it can eat you up alive, my friend. That is what I've been struggling lately, to be honest. Like, I'm trying to solve something very difficult. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to do so many different things all at once. And sometimes just not working. And I get all negative about it. And I try to blame myself for it. And I try to like blame everybody else around me for it. When in reality, nobody's to blame. The only solution to this is to have the realization in your mind when you're having the experience that this is not you. You're becoming what you're fighting against. So everything that you do after that is not you. It's the identity that you've created based on the thing that you're fighting against, based on a difficult problem that you're trying to solve, based on a difficult customer or the client that is, trying to pull you down. It's all based on the reflection of that other thing that is coming to you. And you try to see that thing that is coming to you as yourself, when in reality, it's not you. You're just letting that energy in. And once you become aware of that, when that is happening, when it's still in the process, you can stop it, because right now you have identified the pattern. So it's not a pattern anymore, it is a choice, and that choice lays within your own hands. And of course, I'm still struggling with this. That's why I'm recording this video, is to make you guys realize that I'm not perfect and I still have my struggles on a daily basis. I make mistakes on a daily basis, but I'm authentic with you guys. I'm actually coming in front of a camera talking about this. If you're maybe going through something very similar like me, there is always an outway, my friend. There's always a door that is leading towards a solution. But sometimes we cannot really see that solution. We cannot even see the door, even though we have the keys. We have the keys, but we don't know which door the keys are for. So we get trapped once again inside of our own thoughts, and we say it's a pattern. But once again, my friend, when you become still within yourself, even in the midst of that happening, when you cut out the music, when you cut out the motivation, when you cut out even the discipline, when you just become one with everything in front of you, when you just become one with nature like I'm right now, and you just observe not only yourself but also your surroundings, you realize that it's a choice. Therefore, it's not a pattern anymore. And you genuinely have a choice if you want to live that way and to pursue this negative pattern of behavior further, or you can cut it there and say, no, I don't want to play this game anymore. And of course, that takes some willpower, takes some energy, takes some time to actually adjust this. And you're going to feel so many times, my friend, that you just want to give up. When in reality, if you just keep going a little bit further and just implement consistency once again, like I've said in so many of my videos, if you just implement that and go further, one day you will realize, my friend, that it was always a choice. And you can always choose between the positive and the negative. And the negative here is just to go with this cyclic negative thoughts of becoming the monster itself, becoming the thing that you're fighting against. When in reality, you can step away and observe yourself from a three-dimensional point of view and say, asking yourself the question, do I really want to pursue this even further? Do I really want to entertain these negative thoughts? Because you have the power, my friend, to do that. I have the power to do that. Do I really want to go further with this negative ideas that I'm having in my mind right now? And if the answer is no, then why are you still entertaining it? And this is something very human, my friend. So don't think that you're weird Because I don't think that I'm weird. I think a lot of humans actually experience this. Every single time you try to solve something, every single time you try to do something difficult, something hard, you get very negative because once again, maybe you don't really see the results. Maybe you're like in a plateau phase. Now you don't really see anything like in your life. You don't see where your life is going, and you don't really have anything to rely upon in your life, and you start to become negative. And of course, I know that feeling. It's human nature, my friend. It happens to all of us. But what decides who you are is what you do after that. Exactly what you do after that. Because once again, my friend, remember this: in the midst of fighting against a monster, don't become the monster itself. How do we do that? By using our willpower, our energy to concentrate in the present moment every single time that feeling comes up, that negative entity comes up, that negative emotion comes up, and to realize that we have a choice. And this is not a pattern that you want to continue with. So because it's a choice, you have a choice to make. Very simple said. Do you want to live this negative entity's life that is trying to attack you, when in reality you're just attacking yourself? Or do you want to live this positive life because it's a choice that you can make? It's very simple, my friend. It's not even that complicated. But of course, we humans like to make things complicated, me included, of course. Don't neglect your virtue, my friend. When you're doing something difficult, don't neglect your virtue. Don't neglect the things that you stand for. Don't neglect your moral values, because that is important. That is truly who you are. And when you're doing something difficult, of course, those things get challenged. And when you're doing something that triggers you, when you're, maybe for example, when you're walking in a city and you see somebody that is like very much triggering you. If somebody triggers you, my friend, on a daily basis, wherever they may be, that is a wound inside of yourself that needs to be healed. It is a wound inside of yourself that needs to be healed, and you are the one that can heal it by going over your negative belief systems and saying, why does this person trigger me so much? Why does this person make me so mad? Why do I actually not like this person? Is it because of something they have done? Do I even know this person? Do I even know their story? Why am I making judgments about somebody that I don't even know? It's very important, my friend, because those things basically decide your character. If you judge somebody and you don't even know where they come from and their background story, it says a lot about you. And if you judge them, of course, in a negative light, it says a lot about your character. Now, philosophers over the centuries, my favorite philosopher, to be honest, is Nietzsche. And it's because he reflects the reality of life. Like he genuinely, like he's a realist. Like he genuinely goes into the depth of human suffering. You know, when you stare into the abyss also stares back at you. And he has phenomenal quotes. Like you can think of a Nietzsche quote and you can think about that for like a couple of weeks. And I said in one of his books, whatever, he wrote like, I write in one sentence or in a couple of sentences what a lot of people it would take a lot of people to, you know, write a book for it. So he writes in a couple of sentences or even one sentence what a lot of people, you know, even philosophers or even scientists cannot do that. They need like an entire book for it or even a couple of books. And it just does that in like a couple of sentences. And Nietzsche makes you think a lot. It makes you reflect on reality. It makes you realize that you're a human being, that you have mistakes, that you have faults, and that the reality of life is pretty dark. And of course, he came up with the idea of nihilism. I think nihilism even existed before then. But he kind of like reflected the philosophy of nihilism where, you know, nothing really matters. And he came up with the idea of this video, with this topic of the video, where if you're fighting against a monster, just don't become one in the midst of that. Because it is truly something that a lot of men suffer with, and including myself, where once again, you're trying to solve something difficult and it just doesn't work. And you're just trying to say to yourself, why do I even want to be the hero when the villains get more support in society? Why be the hero when you can also become a villain? You know, when you look in today's society, the hero is not even appreciated. The villains are more appreciated than the heroes, because not only is the villain like this mysterious type of guy, but because the hero is seen as someone that is weak, emotional. And in today's society, not a lot of people actually appreciate that. But you have to become one with your emotions. You have to, you know, look at your emotions and see for what they are. Like you have to see your emotions for not what they could be, but just for what they are, and you just have to sit with it. That's why I say, my friends, the only solution to this is not to neglect it, but to actually sit with it and to realize that, do I really want to let this go further? If the answer is no, then you can cut it there, because once again, it's not a pattern anymore, it's a choice, and the choice is in your hands. Do you want to live this further, or you want to cut it right here and just say goodbye to the old pattern and just focus on the positive belief systems that will actually enrich your life, will actually benefit you with good patterns of behavior, not negative patterns of behavior. It's a choice that you can make, my friend. Think about it. This is also why you have to focus on the good things, my friend, because if you focus on the good things will focus on you. And it's a simple realization that whatever you focus your mind to, you will actually attract that thing. If you live with this negative mindset and you think that, oh my God, I'm just fighting this monster and I'm becoming one in the process, you're not gonna really get out of this trap. The only way to get out of this trap actually is to view your life positively, is to look at things from a positive perspective, because you have the choice and you have the power to do that. Why look at something that is very negative with a negative perspective, when in reality you could be you could be looking at it from a positive perspective and actually integrate that lesson within your life. The more I grow up, my friend, like the more I realize that everything in life is just basically a choice. Of course, not everything, but I would say 90% of life is just a choice that you make on a daily basis. Do I want to look at this from a negative point of view, or do I want to look at this from a positive point of view? Well, if I look at this from a negative point of view, like what good does that do to me? Instead of being stressed, being full of anxiety, depressed, like it does nothing good for you. But when you look at that same problem through the lens of something positive, like, okay, this is a challenge on my path. Can I overcome this? God has put this on my path. I can overcome this. I can actually show myself that I can do it. Instead of saying, you know what, like, why does this happen to me? Like, I don't really want to do it. Like, so many bad things has been already happening to me this year. Like, I'm not ready for it, this and that. You start to view yourself already in a negative light. And you have to ask yourself the question, why do we actually do that? Like, why do you do that? Why do you look at yourself from a negative point of view when in reality you could be focused on a positive thing? You can actually look at yourself from a light, from a good perspective. But we don't do that because I think one of the reasons is because we like to feel sorry for ourselves. We like to feel sad. We like to feel somewhere deep within ourselves. We like to be sad. We like to be chaotic. We like not to be structured all the time. We like the chaos. We want the negative things to happen. We actually want to feel sad because it feels nice. Even we don't want to admit it. It actually feels nice deep within us. But in a long enough time frame, we can begin to realize that it doesn't, because you're just actually hurting yourself. And the only way to overcome this, my friend, is by a choice. And the choice is to look at things from a positive point of view. Did something bad happen today? Don't even view it as something bad. View it as a challenge, rather. Something challenging happened today. What did you do in the process? I didn't really handle it very well. But what did you learn? Okay, you actually went through the experience. I'm actually proud of you. You actually went through the difficult situation, the difficult experience. Okay, that's great. That's a win, my friend. That's a win. Even though you did not really get the things that you wanted to get out of it, that's still a win. What did you learn from the situation? If you learned something from this negative experience, even that you're so-called having, even to this day, that's a win, my friend. Because you genuinely learned something about yourself. And the next time when something similar happens, you know what to do because you've learned in the past. I wouldn't say that we are hard on ourselves. We're actually pretty easy on ourselves. And sometimes that easiness gets translated into complacency. And we start to get very comfortable with routines and the way we live, when in reality we always have to shake ourselves out of comfort. So I wouldn't say we are pretty hard on ourselves. It's more that we never had the tools, me included, of course. Everything that I'm saying in this video is just, of course, from my own perspective. Like, we never had the tools to actually deal with, negative, difficult situations, because most of the time, for a lot of people, all they have seen, not everybody, of course, I'm making a huge overgeneralization, but to make this point clear, is like everybody, like a lot of people just have seen negative things in their life. So when something negative happens, they get into a state of depression, anxiety, and they make the same decisions based on that state of vibration. So they actually make things even worse. When in reality, when something like that happens, you actually state yourself in a positive vibration, and you stay positive even in the midst of negativity, because I have a very strong opinion that circumstances don't really matter. Your state of being does. And when you look at it from a calm perspective and say, okay, this has happened. What can I do right now? And if you already view it like that and you start from this positive vibration, then you're going to go way further than just saying, why did this happen? And start to argue with yourself in your own mind. Like, why did this happen? What could I have done better? Like, why did this happen today? I don't really like it. Like, this all happened to me. You start to go into this negative cycle of thoughts. When in reality, you can use that same energy to view it as a challenge and rather integrate a solution to that challenge. It's all mindset, my friend. Like, back in the days when I was like 16, 17 years old, like, I went on YouTube and I saw everybody like talking about mindset. It was back in 2020, 2021. And I sometimes cringed a bit, like, mindset, I've heard it so many times, but genuinely, that's what reality is. It's all in your mind. Like, it's not even real. Everything is just subjective. Like, it's just what you make it to be. Reality is not even what you see. It's just what you perceive it to be real. Like, I can make a completely different video about that, but it's genuinely like that. Like, it's just what you make it to be. That's what reality is. It's all mindset. It's all like based on how you see the world, through what lens are you looking at the world. Then that comes down to belief systems, and that belief systems then comes down to emotions, thoughts, patterns of behavior. Of course, we can go into the rabbit hole, but you get my point. Like, everything comes down to mindset, which is then connected to belief systems, and those belief systems were formed when you're a child. When you were a child, maybe you developed these kind of negative belief systems in your own mind, maybe through the things that happened to you, because when you're a child, you're very susceptible to the nature and the circumstances around you. So you started to view your entire identity based on the things that happened to you. So right now you have become a victim of the things that happened to you in the past because of these negative belief systems. And when you're older, it's very hard to break these negative belief systems because they contain a lot of emotions, a lot of thoughts, a lot of patterns of behavior. Everything that you can do on a daily basis and everything that you do on a daily basis actually stems down from the things that happened to you when you were a child. Even in the midst of recording this video, my friend, I got to be very quick because my storage is almost full. I've got an iPhone 15 Pro, 128 gigabytes. So the storage is very full. But I wanted to finish my point, and which was to summarize this entire topic that I was talking about. I'm going to make a separate video where I go more in detail about it. But the first thing is, when you're fighting against a monster, which is yourself, don't become one in the process. And the way you do that is by becoming conscious and becoming aware of the actions that you're taking in that moment. And it takes a lot of energy and a lot of willpower, but you can actually do it. And when you do that, you have a realization in your mind that you have willpower and that you have free will. And with that free will, you can either choose the positive side, which is, integrate positive beliefs into your mind, or choose the negative side and become stressed, depressed, and have full of anxiety. It's a choice that you can make, because right now, when you realize that it is a choice, it is not a pattern anymore. Once again, it's a choice, and the choice is within yourself, and you can do that through your own willpower and, of course, with the help of your free will. Ja toch, we zijn hier jongens. We doen even chest en triceps. Ik ben niet gewend om Nederlands te praten, maar ik doe al mijn content in Engels. We gaan kijken wat we kunnen doen. Tweede oefening. Dit is mijn laatste set. Sky is al klaar. Hierna gaan we nog dips doen sowieso. Ik wil sowieso nog dips doen. Misschien 3 sets van 8 reps. Don't do it only for the results, my friend, because you will be disappointed. You will go through life thinking that you deserve this, you deserve that, when in reality success is not guaranteed and you don't know when it's going to come, and even if it's going to come into your life. So the antidote to this, I've actually journaled about this, I've actually talked about this to myself and to other people. The antidote to this pain point that we have, that we always want to get results for certain things, me included. We always want to get the best physique. We always want to, make the most amount of money. We always want to have the best business. We always want to strive towards greater things. And there is nothing wrong with that. But I feel like where something goes wrong is the fact that we put too much effort on the basis of getting it and not really on the journey that it takes to get it. The success, I feel like this is also the bad part of this entire industry of recording videos and making content. I'm not going viral right now. I'm still trying. I haven't hit 100 subscribers yet, and I want to one day, of course, hit 1,000, 100K, 1 million. That's what my goal is. Right now, I've not really achieved that. I'm still in the pursuit of that, right? But I'm not going to solely base my entire existence or my entire identity on just achieving 1 million followers, because I would guarantee you guys, if I hit 100K subscribers, even if I hit 1 million subscribers, which is fucking incredible, I cannot even think about it right now. That is how big it is for me. It's one of my goals since I was 17, 18 years old. But even if I hit it, I would guarantee you guys that it would feel the same. I would still be the same person. Just because some numbers have changed on my YouTube channel or my Instagram or my TikTok, whatever other social media that I'm using, doesn't mean that I've become a different person. And the reason for that is because I've learned not to solely focus on the results, not to solely focus on the end destination. I've learned to focus on the journey, because the journey is the end destination itself. There is no such thing as an end destination. Of course, you worked your ass off maybe for some things, maybe a couple of things, maybe even a lot of things. But that's not really what's really going to take you to another level. What is really going to take you to another level is just enjoying the journey, is just enjoying every single video that you make. Because when you make videos like I'm doing right now, it's not coming from a place of lack. It's not coming from a place of, I want, I need. It's not coming from a place of neediness, of I need the 100 subscribers, I need the 1,000 subscribers. Am I saying that I don't want it? It's great, I want it actually, it's phenomenal. Like I said, it's awesome. I cannot even think about it right now. But I would much more emphasize and put way more pressure on enjoying today and enjoying this video that I make right now, instead of thinking about what am I going to do with 10 other videos that are going to come in the future. Not only do I have zero control over that, but I feel like I'm also going to enjoy life way more when I just focus on this video, instead of thinking, oh my God, if I drop this video, will it get this amount of views? And I'm just stressing about the analytical skills that I need to have in order to pop this video off and, let it, for example, go viral and get it 100K, 200K, 1 million views. Because that's not what it's about. Even if it does that, awesome. But I'm going to still be the same person. Why? Because I prioritized the journey over the end goal that is 1 million followers. Because the person that you used to be before this success, before the fame and the clout, whatever, is the person that you're going to be when you get those fame and clout. Can it change you? Of course it can change you. A lot of people, fame and stuff changes them. I cannot really talk here about experience because I've not reached that level yet. But what I can say is that whatever happens, my friend, I'm still going to be the same person. I'm still going to pursue the same things. My moral value is still going to be the same. My discipline, my virtue, the things that I live by is still going to be the same. It's not going to be misled by some numbers that I see on a phone or some numbers that I see on my laptop. It doesn't matter. It's just numbers. What matters, my friend, is that you enjoy every day. It's a process. There was a quote in one of the books that I'm reading right now. It's about excellence. I don't really remember it very well, but the quote went something like this. It was from a old Zen master, and it said, chop the wood, carry the water, and then you get enlightened. You reach enlightenment, and what then happens is you still carry the water and chop the wood. Nothing happens, nothing changes. Of course, things around you, circumstances and stuff change, but what doesn't change is you. You should still be the same. I'm not going to change my moral values because I've just reached another million subscribers, whatever. Is it awesome? Do I want it? Yes, but it's not going to dictate my pattern of behavior. I'm still going to be the same person. And because I have this realization I'm going to be the same person, I'm not going to focus solely on the million followers because I know it's not going to change me so much. It's not going to make me to a different human being. Because at the end of the day, my friend, every single thing that you have is right now, is here. It's the present moment, and it's never going to go away. It is the present moment. That's all you have. Because when you reach the next thing, my friend, which is going to come, and I'm going to, get there, hopefully 100 subscribers, 200 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, hopefully one day, then I want 10K, then I want 100K, then I reach the million subscribers, then I want 2 million. It's a law of human nature. We always want to strive towards more things, even though we attain the thing that we just wanted. We got $1 million, we want 2 million, we want 5 million, we want 10 million. It never ends. You can say it has its own pros and cons. For example, it is good that we always, as human beings, it's in our nature that we always want to strive towards better things. That's how society is run. It has also its negatives, because you never appreciate the moment. What I'm telling to you guys right now is once again, my friends, don't focus on the end destination. You want to set the end destination there, but just then let it go because you don't know what's going to happen on your way towards there. But you may get an illness along the way. You may, one of your family members dies. Everything happens. Life is uncontrollable. Reality is unpredictable. Things happen out of nowhere. The only thing you can do, my friend, and the only thing that you can control is your own patterns of behavior, your own attitude, and the reactions that you give to life. That's the only thing you can control because that is coming from within. So why are you focusing on something that you cannot control? The only thing that I can control right now in order to reach the 100 subscribers is what can I do today? What type of videos can I record today? How can I speak in front of a camera so that I engage the audience more? How can I improve my storytelling? What type of videos do I need to create? What type of video ideas do I need to have in order to create more videos? With whom do I need to collab? What type of short form content do I need to make? How do I improve my English? You have so many different things that you could be focusing on today instead of, oh my God, 2 years from now, if I get 100K subscribers, it doesn't matter. If you do things correctly on a daily basis, you don't have to worry about the results because the results are going to come. It's a very good skill to be able to sit with yourself for a certain amount of time, just alone, without any distractions around you, without even your phone, without your music, without anything. Just you and your thoughts, and not even a notepad or a journal to write your thoughts on. You can do that. But I would say the peace that comes from that, the peace that you will gain from just sitting with yourself and not having any distractions, just for even say 30 minutes on a daily basis, you will just get so many new ideas and so many new thoughts that you thought were once invisible to you, but they are not. They're actually right here in front of you. And that starts to happen when you put the digital devices around you, you put it away and you just sit there in your room or even in nature like I'm doing right now, and you realize that the ideas are just flowing in your mind. And that's actually where a lot of my video ideas come from. I'm just going into nature. They kind of spawn out of nowhere in my mind, especially when I'm walking. What you have to realize, my friend, is that within these stillness moments, within the moments that you're very still, you're not really concerned about becoming. You're just more concerned about just being here in front of you. When you master this skill, when you really master not having any distractions around you, not needing any type of validation, just you being you, what you then realize, my friend, is that time starts to fade away with your life. It's like time, this concept of time, which is still very weird. But once you start doing something that is joyful, or even doing nothing at all, like I said, just sitting with yourself and no thoughts and just you with yourself, what starts to happen, like I said, time starts to slip away from your reality and you will become one with the present moment. And when you become one with the present moment, what you will realize is there has never been a future nor a past. Everything is happening right now. And I can go into the metaphysics of it, like we're living in a third dimensional reality and, time past, I can go very much in depth about the spiritual reality of that, but I'm not going to do that in this video. I'm going to keep it very light and short. I just want to notify you guys that when you sit with yourself for a certain amount of time, the concept of time starts to go away. And when the concept of time starts to go away, like I said, the past and the future also start to go away because they rely on time. And the only thing that remains is the present moment. Like I'm doing right now. I'm just really one with the camera. Like I have zero thoughts in my brain as I'm speaking these words right now. I'm genuinely in a flow state. And it's because I'm having no distractions. The only thing I have is just my thoughts and of course the words that are coming out of my mouth. And I need to articulate them very well. But when you get into this flow state by doing nothing or by doing something that you find very joyful and that you're very passionate about. So for me, for example, it's speaking and making videos and recording content and putting it out there. You will realize that there has never been an end destination. There has never been a success. There has never been a goal to actually go forward with and actually be so obsessed with the rewards that you will get, because that is all contained within the fabric of time. But once again, when you get time out of the equation, when you get time out of the multivariable equation, what variables do you have left? Most important variable is the present moment. That is what you have left. Coming back to this topic of why you should not focus on the future or why you should not focus on the results, because this is the results right now. Like I'm genuinely living the results. Me sitting in front of a camera and being healthy, being fit, going to the gym, being able to go to the gym. I made that gratitude video. I'm gonna say that so many times also in the future of many of my videos that are going to come, because this is very important. This is success for me. And I've not achieved the followers yet. I've not achieved the likes yet. I've not got the views yet. I've got nothing basically in this game. I've been recording content since May 2025 and I'm doing my best on a daily basis, genuinely guys, to really work hard with this content stuff and to really make it happen. But I already got this printed in my mind. Like I'm already living the results. I don't need really numbers. Of course, like I said, it would be nice. I don't really need the numbers to say to me you got 1 million followers, because I already believe it. But 1 million followers is not success, my friend. Having a lot of money is not success. Let me see if the phone is still recording. Having a lot of women is not success. Having your dream physique even is not even success. The success was that you were able, in the process of actually achieving the end result, you were able to do these things. You were able to implement the same patterns of behavior, implementing consistency on a daily basis to see where you can go. That is what success is. It's not the money, and of course I cannot really speak from experience because I've not got that yet. Like I'm not even at that level yet, so I cannot really speak from experience. But what I can speak about is my own belief systems and the thing that I have thought about very deeply. It's not the numbers, my friend. Like I'm genuinely saying this. It's not really the end results. For example, let's say one of your goals is to pass your exam, for example. Like you've been studying very hard for this exam and you've thought about it so much. Now I just want to pass this exam, whatever the topic may be, and you're just stressing about it. I want to pass, and you really genuinely studied very hard for it. Like you genuinely worked your ass off for it, and then you pass and you're feeling wonderful. Oh my god, I genuinely passed the test. I never thought I could actually pass the exam, but you did. You passed the test, my friend. Congratulations, you got your success. But I would say 5 to 10 minutes later you're thinking, it was great, what's next? Because the end destination, my friend, is not still. It's not something that is concrete into the ground. It is a never-ending cycle of improvement after improvement. That's once again the basic law of human nature. We always want more things, and there is nothing wrong with that. It's actually a good thing. That is what keeps societies and everything in society that keeps it flowing through life, that keeps the countries moving forward, having children and stuff, like building the economy. Like these things all come from people that are not really may be grateful for the things that they have built, or may be grateful for the things that they have, but not really satisfied with the things that they have. So they strive towards more, and out of those striving towards more, some miraculous things happen, because it was never about the thing that you wanted to get. It was never about the exam that you wanted to pass. It was about the journey that it took to get there, because it's not about the fucking 10 that you can get or like an A that you can get on the exam. It's about the person you become on the way. Do you become more virtuous? Do you upgrade your moral values? Do you really practice gratitude? Do you really care about the people around you? Do you really want to uplift people? Do you really want to inspire people? That's what it's about, my friend. That is why the end destination in general is just a tiny little segment of the fabric in time, which in reality is not even real because everything is happening right now. But of course, when we go through life, and I'm also talking from my own experience, right? We get stuck with these activities of what we see mainly on social media. That's why I said, just if you cut out social media for even a couple of days, you still may post content on there like I'm doing right now, but I'm not really on social media. I don't really scroll that much. And the content that I really watch are very like long form content, like above an hour and stuff, so more like podcast forms. I don't really watch short form contents anymore, and the reason for that is because it's infiltrating in my mind, like, oh my god, he or she has the car at 24, like I'm 22, I cannot really achieve that. Comparison is what do they call it, the thief of joy is comparison, something like that. And it's true, it's very true, because you go on social media and you see somebody else living a better life than you and you feel shit about yourself, when in reality, my friend, if you look around you, if you become present and you kind of like get yourself out of the fabric of time and you understand that time is not really real, everything is happening right now, you look around you, one of the things that you will realize is, oh my god, I'm actually healthy. Like, I'm healthy. That is a blessing, my friend. I'm not saying you should be satisfied with the things that you have. That's not the point of this video. But you should sometimes look around you and say, oh my god, like I still have my parents, for example, when a lot of people don't. And that is success. It's fucking, goddamn, bro. Go away, bro. Damn. That is success, my friend. It is reminding yourself that you don't really need any validation, nor any external validation, to be precise, from anything else, not even any people, any situation. You can just be whole with yourself. And how do you do that? Just be. You don't have to become, just be. What tends to happen a lot, my friend, as well, is when we focus so much on the rewards, we usually don't get it, because our physical minds is very much focused on that thing. When in reality, your higher mind, when we're talking about the spiritual perspective, knows way more things than your physical mind does. It kind of like can see the map in front of you, when your physical mind does not. Your physical mind can only see that far. The most interesting thing, I'm reading a book, like I said, about excellence, and is that in that book it describes, how to achieve excellence and stuff, and what it means, the biological perspective, the philosophical perspective, the spiritual perspective, and whatever else you have. And it basically describes that a lot of times the breakthroughs that we have don't really come through work. They come through when we're outside of work. So for example, you've been working your ass off towards finding a solution to a given problem in your life, and you just don't get it. Like, it just doesn't happen. Like, you've been studying maybe for an exam and you just don't get it. And then you take a break and you go for a walk, and then all of the answers suddenly come to you. All of the answers are like right here in front of you. Why is that? Of course, there are some biological perspectives. I'm not going to go in depth into the biology of that, but you get my main point. The main point is that if you focus solely on the end destination, you may not get the results that you want. But if you focus on the journey and you have fun doing the things that you really want to do, not only going to get the results faster, I would say, but you're also going to have fun on the journey itself. Concept that I've been thinking very much about lately, my friend, is the concept of death. And me being at the cemetery and seeing the people that are lying here, actually, it reminds me sometimes that life is unpredictable and things happen out of nowhere. Like I've taught so many times in my videos, like, reality is unpredictable. You can never control reality. Everything just happens out of nowhere. The only thing you can control, my friend, is your attitude and the reaction that you give based on the things that have happened to you in the past. And me seeing these people, may peace be upon everybody here, and hope they're living good lives in the afterlife, and I'm genuinely honest when I'm saying that. The realization that I have right now is that not only is death inevitable, but it's also unpredictable. You'll never know when you're gonna die, like I talked about in my previous video. You never know when your last day is gonna come. And when you focus so much, my friend, on your end destination, and when you focus so much on what you will achieve in the future, then of course you can use your mind and use the law of attraction, use all of these powerful manifestation techniques, you can say. But if you're not present, my friend, if you're not really living life right now, you're not enjoying every single step that you're taking towards reaching the thing that you want, you may not only be in the wrong pursuit, but you're also wasting time. Even though you think you're being very productive, even though you think you're on top of the world, I'm doing so many things, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, I'm being so productive. But if your focus lies solely on the end destination. And in the journey towards reaching that end destination, let's say, for example, one of your family members dies. That is something that reality does to you sometimes, my friend. Like, it's unpredictable. That can happen. It happened to a lot of people. And death is something natural. I would say we should not see death as a negative thing. You know, life has meaning because of death. If there was no such thing as death and life always moved on and there was no such thing as an ending to life, then where would the meaning be? Where would the definition of meaning be? Because if you have so much time on this planet, whether it be like 100 years or even 70, 80 years on average, it's like 70 to 80 years that you're living on this planet. If you have already that realization, then why are you so stressed about the future? Why are you so stressed about attaining the thing that you want when in reality you don't even know if you're going to attain that thing? Because let's say you're in a pursuit, you've been working your ass off for the past 5 years, and in the midst of working your ass off, something terrible happens and you get a terminal illness. You've been sacrificing everything, your sleep, your health, every single thing on the line for this one thing that you wanted to get in the future, but then something wipes you away and you cannot even get that thing because you have passed away. It's good to have goals, my friend. Like, I genuinely don't want you to discourage you guys. Like, I have goals. Like, I've got decade goals, I've got long-term goals, I've got short-term goals, I've got yearly goals, 5 year, 10 years, monthly goals. Like, set as many goals as you want. But if you're gonna focus solely on the goal, you're not only gonna lose yourself in the process, but you're also gonna probably lose the goal. And when every single time I'm here in nature, I get these wonderful ideas. Like, I get these thoughts in my mind that were never here before. And I start to think about reality and what it actually means to live life and what death actually means. And when I get older, I get, of course, more mature in my mind. And I realize that, what am I actually doing with my life? Like, everybody is gonna end up one day in this cemetery, whether it's like this or another one, it doesn't really matter. But you're gonna end up one day under the ground. And of course, people are gonna come to your funeral. But at the end of the day, life moves on. And because life moves on, my friend, you have a choice to make to either live the life that you really got from the universe or God, whatever you believe in, whatever religion you may believe in, to use that productively and actually stay true to your values and actually enjoy the present moment with the things around you that you still have, that can be taken away from you, because you can go from chaos to order in like milliseconds. Or you can say, I'm gonna live the rest of my life in misery and hoping the future is gonna have something in store for me. But I would guarantee you guys, like, I'm talking not from experience, I'm talking from belief systems right here, that when you attain the goal, even, not only are you gonna be the same person that you used to be, it's not gonna change something dramatically within yourself. It may change everything externally. You may get the riches, you may get fame, you may get clout, but nothing internally is gonna change that, because internally you're gonna be the same person that you used to be. Don't focus on the end destination, my friend. Focus on what you can do today. One of the goals that I had when the summer vacation started, which was back on the 16th of June, was to walk at least 15,000 steps on a daily basis. And the reason for that is because I wanted to get lean. I'm still in the process of that, of course. When summer arrives, I just want to be as lean as possible. I had this mini type of goal for myself, like 15,000 steps on a daily basis. It's a very simplistic goal. The only thing you have to do is just basically walk and see how far you can take that. Yesterday, it was around like 9 to 10 p.m. I was, unconsciously doom scrolling on TikTok and on Instagram and even on YouTube Shorts. When you're doom scrolling, what happens is you're doing that kind of like unconsciously. So that's why time goes so fast in those type of moments, because you think, you know what, I'm gonna just go for 5 minutes on TikTok, but then already 55 minutes have passed and you feel actually way worse than you started. It's because you're doing it subconsciously. It's not happening in your conscious mind. And once you become conscious of it, you already realize, oh shit, 30 minutes to an hour have already passed. And I've been so dazzled into this doom scrolling that I cannot even, take it away. I doom scroll a little bit for like 2 to 3 hours, to be honest. And it's something that I'm very embarrassed of, because I preach on my channel to not do those type of things. But I'm also authentic with you guys to come in front of a camera and say that I'm not perfect and I've actually fallen into this trap. I'm actually still in this trap. And the solution that I have for this given problem is to stop consuming content in general. If I want to search something, whether it's like, how to learn sales or how to, improve my storytelling, how to record better videos, how to edit better, I'm just gonna go in search bar on YouTube and I'm just gonna search it there instead of like mindlessly doom scrolling on like even the YouTube long form content. And the reason for that is because every single time I go on YouTube, I see a content creator talking about this, I see another one talking about that, I see another one talking about that, I see another one like, it's just endless like advice. And what then starts to happen, you start to follow somebody else when in reality you should actually follow yourself. The goal that I had in my mind, like I said at the beginning of the summer vacation, was the simplest goal that I had was to walk at least 15,000 steps on a daily basis. Out of the 21 days that I'm pursuing this craft, actually out of the 20 days to be exact, I've achieved 11 of those days and I failed at 9 of them. So it's a pretty bad ratio, to be honest, like 11 to 9. The reason why I'm saying that in this part of the video is because the challenge that you're setting for yourself, actually also how you incorporate joy in your life, speaking from my own experience, is based on the challenges that you set for yourself. The thing is not really if you achieve the challenges or not. The thing is more that you set challenges for yourself so that you can work on it on a daily basis. The amount of joy that I get from myself, speaking from personal experience, of course, comes basically down to the fact that if I challenge myself on a daily basis or not. Like, I've discovered within myself that free time is the worst thing that could happen to me, actually. Because if you look at free time from a black and white perspective and we only look at it through the lens of good and bad, we can say, you can use free time in a good way or you can use it in a bad way. Inherently, there is objectively like nothing wrong with free time. Free time in itself, it's actually pretty good. It takes you, towards resting times, and it, kind of like gets you away from this grind mindset that a lot of people have, including myself, of course. Free time in general is something that, you can use that in a very productive way. But what I tend to do most often is I use free time in a way where it kind of like is destroying me more than actually building me up. What I'm talking about destroying me more is I indulge myself in these very, bad behaviors. So for example, doom scrolling, watching internet beef and stuff, delving myself deep into politics. And to be honest, I don't really care about any of those things because I have this negative belief in my mind that, I have free time. I can actually use this time to actually take some rest. I make things even worse and I don't even take the rest in the first place. And I just go with my day consuming this negative content when in reality I could also use that free time that I have in order to actually genuinely rest. And when I'm talking about genuine rest, I'm talking about, coming in nature without even this phone that I'm recording this video on, just becoming and just being one with nature itself, or just reading a book, or just, talking to a family member, or just socializing with the friends that you really want to socialize with, or even doing a light exercise, or just walking in general. Like those are things that brings kind of like rest into your psyche, rest into yourself. But when you use that time, that free time that you've been given actually by the universe, you can say, or whatever else you believe in, if you use that in a negative way, very strongly believe is you kind of like feel more restless than actually rested. And it's not a good pattern to be in, my friend, because it kind of like it's not good for your mental health, and it starts to have these negative thought patterns in your mind. So one of the things that I discovered within myself, like genuinely this is coming from my true experience, like coming from my heart, like from my belief systems, like the positive belief systems, is I have the most amount of joy in life when I'm doing something that is pretty difficult. When I'm working towards the goal. I'm not now saying this hustle mindset of grinding 24/7. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if I have free time and if I use that free time in a productive way, for me that works very well. Instead of using that free time to like watch 3 series on Netflix, for example, of course, that's just a tiny example. But you get my point. I have way more fun, for example, if I use my free time in a sense of, for example, recording this type of videos. That is genuinely the most amount of fun that I ever have in my entire life. And this is of course coming from me. So I'm not really blaming the content creators that put content out there that I'm watching, because I myself am one of the content creators that actually put content out there. It's more that I'm just wired that way, you can say, where I appreciate time way more if it is used in a productive sense. And I have to be very specific with what I mean when I'm talking about, the productive sense. What is my definition of being productive? My definition of being productive, once again, it's not like being in this hustle mindset of culture of, you got to work 24/7. It's more basically learning a craft or being in this resting period where you are feeling within yourself that you're making progress towards something. And it doesn't have to be like some big project. It can also be like, for example, walking 15,000 steps on a daily basis. That's why I give the example that I gave earlier in this video, where that was just a very simple goal in order to let me strive towards becoming lean. And it's a very simple goal, like 15,000 steps. Once again, it doesn't really require any cognitive skills. You have to just walk and you will eventually reach the 15,000 steps. That's just what I wanted to say in this part of the video. Is what I realized within myself is the most amount of joy that I can get in anything in life comes down through difficulty. It comes down through challenge. Can I overcome this? Because I look at challenges not as obstacles or, oh my God, why did this happen to me? I look at it more like the universe has sent me on this path and this has come on my path. Can I actually overcome this? And I see God is actually observing me and he's saying that, can my son overcome this? And many of the times I can. And sometimes I can, but it's a lesson. And I engrave that into my own, you can say, experience of life, and I go through with it. That's how I look at obstacles. That's how I look at, challenges. I find it very exciting. Like, can I do this? Can I overcome this? And it doesn't have to be like in the physical field of, going to the gym or running. It can be also applied to any other fields of life. Every single time something difficult happens, I sit back and I realize, okay, can I overcome this? The universe has set this on my path, so it means that I can overcome this, because God is not going to give you anything that you're not prepared for, that you're not ready for. Everything that happens to you, my friend, you can go through that because it happens to you for a reason. God knows your strength, and it knows also that you can fight through this. The third point is challenge yourself. Not too much. I'm not saying go crazy once again. Just challenge yourself. Like, genuinely, guys, what has worked for me is just challenging myself on a daily basis and seeing where that takes me. Even recording this video is not easy, my friends. Like, even without a script, just freestyling and just coming in front of a camera, talking the English language, it requires a lot of skills that you have to put together in order to make these type of videos. But I like it. I'm actually having fun when I'm making these type of videos. Not even a challenge anymore. So do something that is challenging every day. I'm gonna go for a run right now. I'm gonna take you guys with me. Let's go. Let's go for a run, bro. As you guys can see, I'm in the middle of nowhere. It's all fucking farms, man. I'm just in the middle of nowhere. As you guys can see, nobody's here. Of course, there are some farmers there, and sometimes some cars slide through this road and go that way, or some other cars come from through there. But right now I'm in the middle of nowhere. Like I said, I just ran 2.5 kilometers. I wanted to do some sprints. That's what I had in my mind, and it was pretty difficult, man. Like, my throat is hurting very much because maybe I'm a little bit dehydrated. It's currently 27 degrees right now. It's pretty hot. I may have to take the shirt off because it's very hot. And 2.5 kilometers, I'm gonna do a couple of sprints, and I'm gonna run back towards my place, of course, which is also 2.5 kilometers. So I'm finishing 5 kilometers right now, which is pretty decent. And I just wanted to say, guys, this is what I'm talking about when I get most excited, when I have the most amount of joys, when I come to these type of places and there's fucking nobody here, and it's just me against myself, you can say, and I'm just enjoying nature, and I'm just in my own thoughts about how I can become better. Like, why have I screwed up yesterday? Like, why have I learned from that experience? Like, why did I do that? Like, I've come to this realization in my mind, like I've said in my previous video, that I get so many new insights when I come to these type of places in nature where, it's just me and my own thoughts, and of course some of the music that I'm listening to, but you get the point. Like, it's just me. And once again, I have so many creative insights every single time I'm at this place, because there is no distractions. It's just me and my phone that I'm recording this on. And sometimes I don't even bring my phone. I just bring my watch, to 40 kilometers, of course, because the watch is, counting the kilometers, how much I've ran and stuff. So there's nobody here. I'm just me and the camera that I'm talking to right now. And I just want to emphasize this further, like what has helped me through these years of development, what has helped me through these years of becoming a better man. And I'm not even there yet. I would say I'm at 5% of like my full potential. Is that overcoming challenges. And of course, this is a tiny challenge for just running 5 kilometers or even less, but this can be applied to anything else in life. Like, I feel like in order to, become a good human being, I feel like you should, have a little bit of adversity that kind of like shows you who you really are. There's a truck right here. Thank you very much, bro. And some type of adversity that kind of like puts you against yourself, and you're thinking like, okay, how the hell am I going to solve this? And when you do that more often, what then tends to happen is you just become a stronger individual. You just have more, you have improved your character. You just become a better human being. You humble yourself and you see reality for what it actually is. And that's what I'm actually doing right now in these type of videos. Like, I'm being very authentic with you guys, of course, like I said, but I'm also like showing you guys what has what has worked for me. Maybe it can also work for you. But I'm gonna do some sprints right now and see what we can do. Let's get it.
you guys saw, I did some sprints. I did like 4 or 5, plus the 2.5 kilometer that I ran. To be specific, 2.6 kilometers. Very tired, man. Didn't think that it would take a lot of energy, to be honest, in order to make this happen. But I'm walking back home right now. And I just wanted to say one more time, my friends, like, I feel awesome right now, even though I'm tired. Like, I very low on carbs, a little bit of brain fog, you know, thirsty. I need some water as soon as possible, man. My throat hurts. I'm a little bit fatigued. My stomach hurts a bit. Like, even though I have all of these things, my friend, I still feel very good. And the reason for that is because I did something challenging today that kind of like put me a little bit out of the ordinary sequence of day-to-day life. And it put me a little bit out of my comfort zone to try some of the new things. And that's what I preach on my channel. It's always what I'm gonna preach on my channel, like in the future as well. Just do something that is a little bit out of the ordinary sequence of day-to-day life. Like I said, it's just a little bit out of the routine that you follow on a normal basis. Because from my experience, I feel then the most like good about myself. Like, I feel very genuinely good about myself. And hope you guys can resonate with this message. And the third message of this video is to do something challenging every single day. The intensity you can choose yourself, but if you do something like walking 15,000 steps on a daily basis, and that is normally outside of your comfort zone, maybe normally you walk like 6,000 to 7,000 steps, it's already a win. Even setting that goal, not even achieving it, is already a win. I always said to myself, every single time I come home from a good day of work, I feel so satisfied that I gave everything that I could have given in that specific day, like on that day. And I feel very good about it. That's the message of the third video.
Bro, joh, die kwaliteit is echt anders, man.
If you have made it to the end of this video, my friend, I appreciate you very much. At the end of this video, I still wanted to talk quickly about a couple of things that I find very important. The first one being is to ask you guys to leave in the comment section if you actually like these type of videos, for the people that have actually watched this far. I like making them very much. It's very creative. Like, I have to think about the video ideas, I have to think about the chapters, you know, I have to think about what I want to talk about. I like it very much. I like the challenge, you know, it's a creative pursuit that I very much want to indulge myself in even further. So I appreciate every single one of you guys that are, of course, still watching right now. And if you guys can leave in a comment if you guys want more of these type of videos, like full guides type of videos, where I basically, you know, give my opinion based on the things that have worked for me, and maybe somebody can, you know, somebody out there can resonate with this video, and, you know, it may help them with their lives, which I'm, you know, very proud, you know, very honored to do that. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is not to take this guide very literally. What I mean by that is, you know, do something that works for you. You know, oftentimes that was one of my struggles that I had in the past, is I would go on, you know, on YouTube or even any other type of social media, and I would watch these type of videos, like maybe they got like 100k, 200k, 500k, like 1 million views. And I would watch these type of videos, you know, and they taught me a little bit about how to live. Like, you should do this, you know, you should take cold showers, you should work out every single day. And I followed them, and it worked actually. Like, a lot of advice on the internet is pretty good if you use it correctly and stuff, you know, give your own tone to it. But there were also times when I, you know, watched a lot of videos and I implemented the advice and it just did not work for me. And if that is the case for you in this video, my friend, you just have to do what works for you. And that's the end message of this entire video. Like, do what works for you. Don't very much listen to everything that I'm saying, because everything that I'm saying is basically based on my own experience in life and based on the research that I've done, based on the belief systems that I have. It's based on my entire, you know, you can say self-image. But if that does not fit your own self-image, you can of course try to change it and see if that works. But if it does not work, my friend, if you've tried genuinely and it does not work, then I have a very strong opinion that you should actually follow your own path
and maybe actually do a little bit of the stuff that I talked about, but you know, give your own tone to it and see how that goes. You know, you have to experiment with these things. When I talk about like you should challenge yourself, you know, some people take it very literally, like they want to run 20 kilometers on a daily basis, or they want to even do some extreme things. You know, you can do that, like experiment, like do these type of stuff, or don't do that, like maybe go a little bit lighter with yourself. Like you have to find your own path in this, and that's what I discovered within myself, even in the midst of, you know, building this channel up, which I started in May of 2025. Is, you know, you just have to do something that works for you. You know, some people, they get excited when they wake up at 6 a.m. and some people, even when they sleep earlier, if you wake them up at 6 a.m., you will like get a zombie in front of you, if you understand what I'm talking about right now. Do what works for you, my friend. Like, don't follow the path blindly. Experiment a little bit with the things that I talked about in this video, and hopefully you guys learned a lot in this video, because genuinely that's my goal. It's to, you know, of course, you know, educate people online, you know, based on my own experiences, based on my own belief systems. And I like to be creative. I like to make these type of videos. So if you guys want to, you know, in the comment section, want to let me know what you guys thought of these type of videos, if you guys want more guides, and also of course to, you know, follow your own plan, follow your own path. You know, you can tone it a little bit differently than, you know, what you would do normally, but at the end of the day, my friend, it's your life, it's your path, and you just have to do whatever you want to do. That's just what I wanted to say at the end of this video, man. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and I see you guys in another video. Bye bye.